Hey everyone, and welcome to Mummy's Metal. I'm the mommy, and this is my metal. So, this was an exciting week for me. As I dive further into the online metal community, which I really didn't even know existed, I've discovered new bands I've personally never heard of before. This week, some new albums have dropped and some new singles have been released. I got to participate in a live pre-video release chat with a band that I started following after they started following me on Twitter. And I've made my first contribution to a live discussion that focused around metal music exclusively. I mentioned the BatAAr TV channel in my last video, and I'll be mentioning them again in this video. But before I do, I wanted to mention that I am in no way affiliated with the BatAAr TV brand or the channel in any way at all. I am simply a fan who truly appreciates the work they've put into this site, the content that's available on this site, and the education I'm getting because of this site. So on BatAAr TV, they have this weekly show called Lockhorns. And as their site describes it, they are a weekly live stream debate of BatAAr's infamous heavy metal family tree. So basically, they discuss the core groups or the influential groups in very specific genres. They always have a guest with them that is very knowledgeable in that particular genre. Please check them out. The link will be provided below. And I'm sure that there will be a show or a discussion that will interest you. If it's a genre you've heard of but you don't really know anything about it, this is a really good way to learn. A couple of days ago, I actually got to watch it live, and to my immense pleasure, they were discussing glam metal. Now, this is a genre I didn't know was actually acknowledged by the metal community, let alone validated and embraced. My friends as a teenager considered these bands hair bands, and that's all they were known for. They had big hair. Nobody really talked about their music in my circle of friends. We didn't have internet back then. The only exposure I had to music was the radio and a weekly Friday night video show that ran for about an hour and a half. What they played on the video show, there was no real specific format, so it was pretty much tune in and hope that you get to see somebody you enjoy. So to go back to the Lockhorns episode, the guest for that particular show was Priya Panda from the band Diamonds. And the glam metal tree already had bands like Poison, Motley Crue, Twisted Sister, bands of that nature, but they did not have Skid Row. I thought this was a grave oversight, and Skid Row definitely deserved to be on that particular family tree, because I can remember at the time they were just as prevalent. Anytime any of the other bands were mentioned, Skid Row was also included. So I entered the chat. I hesitantly typed in Skid Row with a question mark, and somebody else agreed with me, which gave me some confidence to enter Skid Row without the question mark. A couple of more people, one person mentioned me by name, agreed that Skid Row deserved to be on this list, and they kept pushing for it, which gave me the courage to push for it. And of course, I started screaming it, which in chat everyone knows means cap locks. But I was getting more confident as it went on, because more people were joining this conversation, or at least acknowledging Skid Row should be on there. By the end of the episode, long story short, Skid Row was added to the BatAAr family tree for glam metal. I was beyond thrilled that not only was I able to contribute in some small way to the shaping of this family tree, and therefore contributing in some small way to the metal community, but I was extremely excited about the fact that no one made fun of me for making the suggestion. Quite the opposite. It was validated. my opinion was respected, and it gave me the confidence to start speaking a little bit more about the bands I do know about, and to learn a little bit more about the bands I don't know much about, but I'm curious about. My opinion may not always be the same as yours, but I am every day learning that my opinion is still just as valid. I like what I like. It may not be technical, it may not be perfect, but to me, it's enjoyable. I like some bands because of their technicality. I like other bands because they're just fun. They're ear candy. I can sing along. I can just kind of let everything go and have a good time with the song. Those songs are just as important to me as the meaningful ones, the deep ones, the technical ones, the heavy ones. I mean, just because my taste in the early 90s switched to bands like New Kids on the Block. Sorry, guys. Grunge quickly came in, captivated me. Alternative rock, whatever you called it back then, if you were in the 90s. That captivated me instantly the second it came out. But in between, there was that lull in music, and guilty pleasure. I love New Kids on the Block. But it doesn't mean that my tastes can't evolve to now include bands like Ghost Iris and Veil of Maya and Rings of Saturn, Ocean's 8 Alaska. These are bands that I have now come to appreciate. I love. I can still listen to the old poppy music. I still like other styles of music. I have to. In a family this size, we have various tastes in music. The next day, I watched a video pre-release live chat with BatAAr, a Swedish art metal band that I discovered on Twitter when they began following me. I was intrigued with their look. I was intrigued with their sound. I wanted to see what this band was going to be all about. Hence how I ended up at the pre-show live chat. The band was very gracious about interacting with their audience. I got to ask a question and found out that the first song that Patrick and Indigo remember loving were different songs sung by Spice Girls. That gave me an idea of their early influences. I remember the 90s. My daughter was a huge Spice Girl fan. That gave me some way to connect with them on a more personal level. Once the Q&A was done, it was time to say goodbye to the boys and go watch the video. And I really enjoyed it. It was well done. They did all the editing themselves, I believe. They put it all together. They wanted to try and keep control of their creativity, and they put a lot of work into it, and I appreciated it. So, other bands that I've discovered through Twitter, I'm going to be mentioning. I'll let you know what Google labels their genre. Not all of them are metal, but all of them have intrigued me, and I really liked what I heard. The first, you're going to possibly laugh because I've never heard of these guys, was Pierce the Veil. This is not a band my friend follows, so it wasn't ever a band that came up on the playlist. When I heard them, I really, really, really liked their sound. I like the uniqueness of the main vocalist. His vocals are very distinctive, and that appeals to me. They're an American post-hardcore rock band, according to Google, so not technically metal. Really good band, though. Please check them out. All the links for these bands will be listed below. I encourage you, go, check them out yourself, formulate your own opinion. Come back, write a comment, we'll discuss it. If you have another suggestion, please feel free to offer it, and I will definitely go check them out. The second band that I added to my playlist was PVRIS. It's spelled PVRIS, but according to Google, it is pronounced Paris. I didn't realize that, and I mangled the name for the first 2 weeks that I was listening to them. It's really no wonder no one knew who I was talking about. This is another American post-hardcore rock group. The songs on their new album, White Noise, are incredibly catchy, are incredibly fun to sing, but well written. Songs like Fire and Mirror, they get into your head and you just can't help but sing along with them. The next band I added was Gorod in conjunction with Beyond Creation. Now, Gorod was recommended to me by a different friend a little while ago, and I've listened to them off and on, but I didn't really avidly listen to them until I found out they were coming to my city and putting on a show together. So I went and I found Gorod and Beyond Creation. I listened to them constantly. They're going through my playlist all the time. I'm really enjoying them. Gorod is a technical death metal band from France. They do sing in English. I believe some of the songs may be in French. I'm still trying to adapt to the words, so I'm not quite sure. Beyond Creation is a Canadian band. They're from Quebec, Canada. They will be in my city over the Easter weekend, so I can't wait to go see them. They're going to be my first heavy metal show. Very excited. Hands Like Houses was another band that I found through Twitter that I added to my playlist. They're an experimental alternative rock band from Australia, and they have a new album out right now called Dissonance that is just blowing up Twitter. It's being very, very well received. Please check them out. I liked their sound so much, I wanted to see if they had changed from previous albums or not, so I went and I got the album Ground Dweller. I like it just as much for completely different reasons. The sound has changed to me, but I like both sounds, so it all works out. I get 2 albums now from the same band that suit 2 different moods for me. So, win-win. Novelists is another band that my friend recommended. They're a progressive metalcore band from France. I haven't been able to find too many songs of theirs right now. The songs that I do have, I'm enjoying, so I'm going to explore them a little bit more, and we'll probably talk about them on a future episode. Fleshgod Apocalypse, Italian death metal band that was recommended by a different friend. They are sort of an orchestral, or at least the album I have is very orchestral, which my 13-year-old son, who openly detests metal, actually overheard one day and said wasn't bad. That just goes to show you there is a style of metal for everybody. You may think you don't like metal, but that just means you haven't found the right sound for you yet. And you have to just keep exploring, keep an open mind, and branch out. The last band that I added to my playlist was Polyphia. They're an American progressive metal and gent band that my friend has apparently listened to for quite a while now, but I didn't know about them. We didn't listen to a lot of instrumental bands when we were having our listening sessions. So these guys were never added to the playlists, but he had them on a separate list. They have a new album out right now called New Renaissance. Please, 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 please go check it out. This album is already on the front page of iTunes. It is incredibly good. Check out their other albums. They are just as beautiful. I really can't say enough about this band, except I should have known about them a lot sooner. There were a couple of bands that I did expand my library for. One of them was Children of Bodom, a melodic death metal band from Finland that I was introduced to through BatAAr, which I will get into in another episode. I had Relentless Reckless Forever on my playlist, and I absolutely loved it. I can recognize them instantly now. To me, they remind me of, aesthetically, they remind me of the bands that I used to listen to, but their sound is heavier and absolutely phenomenal. Alexi Laiho, the lead guitarist and singer, is world-renowned, recognized as being an amazing guitarist. Because I really like their sound and I like that album, I went and I got I Worship Chaos. I know there are other albums out there. I'm going to be getting them eventually. But I Worship Chaos is the one that I chose, so I've added that to my library and I'm loving it just as much. Ghost Iris is a progressive metalcore band from Denmark that I've been listening to for at least the last year and a half. They currently have a new song out now called Vista. Please follow the link below, go give it a listen, and if you enjoy that, check out the rest of their songs. They have an amazing album out. I enjoy it every single time it comes up. The last thing I wanted to mention before saying goodbye this week was yesterday I got to watch Bring Me the Horizon's new video for Follow You. This video is incredible, unexpected. I certainly didn't expect the storyline that it took. It was the first video that ever made me scream, "Holy fire truck," because, you know, little kids are around. Can't really curse. Well, you know when he first leaves the house, yeah, that moment. Startled me. Totally unexpected. The video is gory. It's over the top. It's crazy. It's wonderful. It's hilarious. I love it. Bring Me the Horizon has recently crept into my #1 band spot. I'm really sorry, Corey, but they just got the new album out. That's the Spirit. Every song on that album just speaks to me in ways that no album has in a really long time, probably since Stone Sour a year and a half ago. So, Bring Me the Horizon, Follow You, go check out the video. Please don't necessarily watch it on a big screen or anything. If you have little kids around, they may get a little creeped out or a little scared. Watch it on your phone, tablet, whatever. It is an incredible video. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button down below, share it with your friends, and you may as well hit the subscribe button too. If you have a comment to leave in the comments section, please go ahead. I would love to know, do you like these bands? Have you heard of these bands? Have you checked them out? What do you think? Let's start a dialogue. Do you have any other suggestions that I maybe haven't considered yet? I have been given an immense list of bands that I have to check out from my friend, but I can certainly throw other ones in there with it. Thanks for your time. Thank you for visiting. See you later.